What is going on today, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about what are the highest dividend stocks of 2018. Now, a lot of people don't even know what dividends are. To explain them very quickly, it is a company's way of paying back their investors. When a company pays dividends, it is an amount they pay. This could be monthly, this could be quarterly, this could be semi-yearly, this could be yearly. But it's an amount they pay, and this is always just looking at the annual dividend. So what it adds up to at the end of the year. But it's an amount they pay their shareholders as a way of giving back for them purchasing stock in their company. With that being said, so now you can look at this. You have current dividend yield and indicated annual dividend. So when you're looking at this, all this current dividend yield is, it is the annual dividend price divided by the current price of the stock. So this yield could constantly change if your stock price is going up or down daily, which it does. But you take $1.72 divided by 833 and you come out with a yield of 20.65%. Now, you got to be careful when you're looking at the companies that pay the highest dividends. Are you meaning their highest percentage compared to the stock price, or are you meaning the actual highest dividend amount? So all you have to, this is just looking at current NASDAQ holdings, but the highest yield dividend stocks. That's what it is sorted into right now. So you can go down the line, look at companies paying from highest to lowest to the highest dividend yield. Or if you are looking for the highest annual dividend amount, click up here. Gotta click it twice and look. And now you can see this company is paying $9.12 per share every single year. You can go down the line and you can see everything. There's Pepsi, $3.71 per share, and these are per share values. So if you have one share, you will get $9.12 back per year. If you have 10 shares, you'll get $91. 100 shares, $912, and so on. That works for every single company. Now, some companies pay dividends, some do not. That's just the reality of what it is. A lot of times it depends on the company, but if they don't feel like they can use their money to further advance the company or grow it anymore, that's why a lot of these companies will pay dividends. Now, I know this list can be overwhelming. So another way you can look at these companies that pay the highest dividends. Type in Vanguard Index Funds. Scroll down and hit Vanguard Funds List. Vanguard is just an easier site to use. That's why I use it so much. I do like Vanguard. They have a very small amount of fees compared to a lot of the other companies out there, but there are a lot of companies starting to compete with them now. But Vanguard, I've been using their site forever, and I'm most familiar with it. That's why I like to look at this. But another way, search for your dividend yields. Hit Control F or Command F if you're using a Mac and type in dividend. So now you can look at these. High Dividend Yield Index. This is just another little trick to go in to find companies. Now, if it's in, these are all index funds. Scroll down and look at their top 10 holdings. Now you can see the funds that these indexes are holding, so that is a good indication that these are good companies. And look at the product summary. It's an index fund tracked benchmark that provides broad exposure to U.S. companies, blah, 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 blah. The fund's emphasis is on slower growing, high yielding companies. So these companies are already established and they are slower growing. They are not fast growing ones, but they produce high dividends. So if you go down, this is another trick or tip to look for companies paying high dividends. Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan, Exxon, Pfizer, Verizon, Wells Fargo, etc. And you could go back to that NASDAQ list and search Pepsi now. And you can see their dividends, $3.71 per share, annual dividend. Now, if you go back to this list and, say, for instance, company Johnson & Johnson, Johnson & Johnson is actually not on the NASDAQ. So you are not going to be able to find it on this list. So for instance, say you wanted to find something that wasn't on that list that you're currently looking at. You can go to something called like Yahoo Finance, or just go to your regular, whoever you use. Go to TD, anywhere that'll show you a dividend. So we'll go here, we'll type in J&J because that's ticker symbol for Johnson & Johnson. And as you can see, Johnson & Johnson is on the New York Stock Exchange, so it is not going to show up on the NASDAQ. This was just the top dividend stocks in the NASDAQ. Don't forget about that. Sometimes you are not actually looking at the entire stock market. So we'll go back to Johnson & Johnson. You can look. And on Yahoo Finance, dividend date, for dividend and yield. So you are getting $3.60 per share, or 2.53%. So for instance, you take your dividend of $3.60, divide it by 146.21, you're going to get pretty close to 2.53%. Like I said, that percentage can always change based on the current stock price. But if you go on a site like Yahoo Finance, you can type in anything. So you don't have to limit yourself to whatever highest dividend yield is on this website. Make sure you look at the entire stock market if you want to. Don't just look at the NASDAQ. Look at the New York Stock Exchange, S&P 500. You don't just want to look at the NASDAQ. You got to look at everything. But don't forget, there's New York Stock Exchange too. So you're better off going to a site where you can search the entire stock market and all the exchanges, not just a singular one. So we're going to go back. Now remember, this is just an idea. This will give you an idea of what companies to search and what companies, if they're in an index fund and an index fund is performing well, most likely they have them in here for a reason. It's not just some company that they're buying because, oh, it's a high dividend yield. These are established companies. Now you can go to different ones also, and for instance, we'll type in dividend again. Now there's this dividend growth. This will give you a different scenario of stocks. This dividend growth are high quality companies that have both the ability to grow their dividends over time. So these are companies they think will grow their dividends over time. They're established. Again, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Johnson & Johnson. It's not ironic that Pepsi and Johnson & Johnson are on both of these lists. Nike. But you can see it is different. Depending on what this index tries to do, they're going to show different companies. But looking into these index funds gives you a good idea of what stocks to look at if you are looking to buy single stocks. This will give you, and remember, if you say you want to do your own index yourself and your idea is just to buy all of these companies, you're going to most likely replicate this fund's performance. So if you just want to if you want to be a riskier investor and just invest in single companies, you could choose a few of these, the ones that you want to pick out of this list that you think will perform the best. Then that would be you picking your own stocks. And just remember, these are only the 10 largest holdings. There are a total of 43 stocks in this index, and you can go down to portfolio holdings and see all of the stocks that this particular index holds. So these might be lesser known companies that this index still finds value in, but they don't have a lot of shares because they're trying to compete. They're trying to compete for the best index, so they want to make sure they at least have these dividend growth stocks that are already established. So that's it for the video. I just want to show you guys a different way to look for dividend stocks. You don't always just have to know all the stocks out there. This can be an easier way to find stocks that are already bought in indexes, already established, if you're looking to choose your own dividend stocks. It's another resource you can use. And if any of you have any interesting stocks that you already own that are high producing dividends, or they are stocks that you think that will have a good dividend future, post them down in the comment below. Let the whole YouTube community get in on your little secret, so forth, and be a good place to have a discussion. So if you like videos like this, leave a like on the video if it taught you something. And if you want to see future videos from me, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.